Hi, everybody. Welcome to Marketing Monday. It is Monday afternoon, Veterans Day, and big shout out to all of our veterans out there. Thank you for defending our country, for serving, for giving us the freedoms and the liberties that we all have, Christopher.
Absolutely.
I want to talk a little bit about timing today and timing in marketing, right? So I don't know about you, but when I got back from a meeting with you this morning, I had 337 promotional emails that had hit my inbox. And I see people, I'm in other Facebook groups outside of our Build Short-Term Rental Wealth Facebook group, and I see people, all posting the veteran stuff. And I don't do that. And I don't do that on really any holidays except for, from a promotional standpoint for business. I think people try to take advantage of that. And the reason I want to bring this up is one, I've had 337. That was before noon today, roughly. I think, what did I drop you off? Maybe about 11:30 or 11:45 or so. And a lot of them leverage the holiday to be promotional for their own business. And somebody even posted in the Facebook group asking if we were having a Veterans Day sale on or a promotion for Veterans Day for Remove the Needle. And I told him no, and then he ended up signing up anyways. Here's the reason that I bring that up for everybody from a marketing standpoint is number one, when you look at timing for marketing, timing is everything. So most of you will wait to send out Christmas emails and that type of stuff till around Christmas. When the reality is you should be doing that now, not on Veterans Day, but doing your Christmas promotion stuff ahead of Christmas. And Chris, you probably heard this story before, but we used to, at Silver Oak Grand Avenue, my ground transportation companies, we celebrated Christmas in July. and we were the official transportation provider for Santa Claus in the off season. So he had his deer, he had the reindeer, he had the sleigh, on Christmas Eve, but we were the official off season ground transportation provider. And we would send emails out. We'd do social media around it. We'd run promotions around it. And here's why, because it's unexpected. So think about when you get those Christmas cards of your fourth cousins, second brother-in-law's children's grandchildren that literally, went to Greece, or they might just be standing in their backyard, and you get that, basically Christmas card, which is really just, a Pixie Photoshop, online card, and it says Merry Christmas. How does that make you feel? You get those, Chris? How does that make you feel? Does that make you feel special? No, it doesn't, because everybody in the fucking world is getting that same Christmas card at the same 2 weeks. Literally, it's going to happen from like the week of the 8th, 9th, 10th of December up until Christmas. And then you'll have some of the people who won't send them out till like the 23rd, and then they're going to arrive on the 26th or 27th, and that's worse. So you're getting caught in the flood of everybody else. And here's what's happening, folks. I want you to understand. You hear Chris and I talk a lot about social media, Facebook ads, all this type of stuff, and it works. But the worst time to invest into advertising for you guys is starting right now, because we're starting already to see Black Friday deals. We're seeing Cyber Sunday deals. You're going to see your reach go down. You're going to see your conversion rates go down, because even though Nordstrom's and Under Armour and the MLS are trying to sell tickets for their playoff soccer games, and your local hockey teams in Boston or the Preds here, the Blackhawks, we're all competing for the exact same dollars. So we're all going after that same buyer persona. And now is not the time to be doing that. So you really should have your marketing strategy starting to slow down a little bit, in my opinion, until we get to about that first week of December, and understand that you might be able to get more eyeballs, might be able to get more views on your content, but most likely you're not going to get higher conversions. Do you agree with that, Chris?
Yeah, absolutely. I was just having a conversation with our ads team last week, and this was part of our conversation. Like, we're wanting to scale, and as you know, when you get return on ad spend, the more money you spend, when you can actually track it, the more return you'll get. It's a pretty simple math formula. You want to spend more money, as that means you're going to get more returns. Mm-hmm. But we're in that weird part of the year where now is not necessarily the best time to ramp something like that up, because you're going to be competing. And what people don't necessarily realize about Facebook ads or ads everywhere, all the ads are an auction. And so it's who's paying the most money in this time of year. You want to let all the big people who have all the big budgets spend all their money, and then you hit it right after the first of the year when things kind of settle back down. And before we get into like the Valentine's Day, which is the next big push of everything, because all these companies just have spent their money. That's their big marketing push for the year. Now you'll be able to come in and get cheaper cost per click, cheaper ad reach, cheaper everything because you're on the other side of the holiday season. You're not trying to compete with all the people spending the big bucks.
Yeah, and that kind of sucks for people that want to like close out the year strong and
Mhm.
generate sales going into this. But honestly, this is when I will typically turn my ads off, and that's what I'm talking about with timing is everything. So one of the things, let's move over and talk about email for a little bit. Hopefully, all of you guys have the 200-day funnel implemented. If you don't, we'll go over that a little bit. On Move the Needle, which is only a week from today, Chris. That's in 7 days. And I guess that's a perfect segue to announce that we actually haven't really announced this yet, but we have the #1 revenue manager in the country. And I don't mean the biggest, like the most volume of properties, but the one that drives the highest return on investment is going to be joining us on Monday. That's 1 week from today. So if you have not gotten your Move the Needle tickets yet, it's a virtual event that will be Monday and Tuesday. Chris, did you confirm times? Is it 10 to 3 Central Time?
11 to 4 Central Time.
11 to 4 Central Time. I thought we were doing 4 hours each day. You threw a bonus hour in there. You fucking used the wrong time.
Squeeze it in.
You put the wrong time on there. I promise you. Now I got to work an extra hour. So it's going to be an amazing event. We've never had one. I haven't seen any events that are just tied to marketing and revenue management, which is critical because when we talk about marketing, revenue management plays an important piece of that. When we talk about revenue management, marketing is an important piece of that. So not only am I bringing in the #1 revenue manager in our industry to teach you guys exactly how he shocks the systems and what he does. Chris, I just spent three hours yesterday unwinding revenue management from another entity that I was trying out. And it's so much more complicated than just setting up Price Labs or Beyond or whatever. And it ties directly. You should have your marketing strategy aligned with your revenue management strategy. So I want to jump over to email real quick. A lot of you wait till now. We're into the second week of November to start marketing for and doing revenue management for your Christmas weekends. And one thing that I think is super important is if you still have Christmas open or dates between, say, Christmas Eve, the 24th, through the 1st of January, you need to be lowering those minimums now because the likelihood of booking those dates, unless you are in a last minute ski market. So if you're in Blue Ridge, Georgia, or if you're in Western North Carolina and Asheville, I get Hatley Points opening in Asheville, but that's not going to be a huge draw because most people don't know about that unless they live there or you're in art, hospitality, or our type of business. You need to have your 4-night minimums probably down to 3 on the weekend and even 2 during the week at this point. And one of the things that I look at is when I talk about putting everything together, that's when I do an email push like this week, right? And I'm going to do an email push this week about those dates and that I've just lowered the minimum nights. But here's the key. Me personally, I would probably go in and bump up those rates by about 10 to 15%. Right now, you got to do your own comp research, get in Price Labs, look at the marketing research reports. And this is where it ties hand in hand. So step one is I go in and I do my research in Price Labs or Wheelhouse, whatever you're using. I look at my comp sets, right? And if I believe I have the ability and the demand, then I'm going to raise my pricing. I might only do this for a week, Chris. So literally today, I raised my pricing by 10, 12, 15%. And I send out the email and the subject is ABC property, still has availability. Then you get into the email and, hey, look at our amazing cabin. This is what you can do. We've got snowmobiling, we've got fishing, we've got whatever the fuck it is that I'm going to do at your place. Make that stand out and let them know that you've lowered the minimums from like 4 days to 3 days. Hey, just have a couple of days off work. Come and have a super quick, Christmas with us. Are you decorating? Do you put up trees and that type of stuff? Show them that in the images and the video. So this is where, and you don't leave that pricing up till, I would probably leave the pricing up till the night before Thanksgiving towards Wednesday. And I'd want to be back in line when people are hanging out, watching crappy football games, eating dried out turkey and stuffing on Thursday. And then, that's when buying mode goes back in on Friday, right? So I don't want to be overpriced by 10, 15, 20%. And I'm doing my marketing push ahead of that Black Friday. And that's not in the 200-day funnel. That's something that you want to go. So that's something that you want to implement in between the emails. That's why I don't have 50 emails going out over 300 days, right? It leaves time to where you have plenty of automation in that 200-day rebooking funnel to have communication to drive value for your customers, but also to be able to slide these types of emails in as well. Like we have typically 3 emails a week planned to go out for Build Short-Term Rental Wealth. And then I will drop in, 1 or 2 emails that are impromptu, that are based on subject matter. Like, the Super O Sunday topic was so important yesterday. I almost never send out an email about Super O Sunday, but I sent one out yesterday morning, and that goes in between the pre-planned communication that we have. Usually we send out a Marketing Monday email, but there was one scheduled that went out this morning that was I think so valuable that that's why we don't have as many people watching this, because we didn't send out an email, and that's directly correlated. Like if you go and you look at the number of views of Marketing Monday every Monday, and then you go back in your inbox, if you don't delete the emails and see when we send an email, you're going to see that we probably do 3 to 5x the number of views when we send out emails on Marketing Monday, and we did not do that today. Hey Casey, how are you? Hey Anthony, Casey, man. Last time I saw KC was at B&B camp, and we were in Glacier National Park, and I can't remember, was it husband? Boy, I think it was husband, yes. Literally did a cold plunge in the river inside Glacier National Park, and it was so freaking cold. I mean, he was shivering for about 5 or 10 minutes after that. Probably burned 1,000 calories only being in there for 2 or 3 minutes, but we'll talk about cold plunging another day. Can't wait to see you guys again super soon. But that's where this is why, not to get off topic, this is why the timing becomes so critical. And that's where the timing of the sequence that I've already pre-built for you in that 200-day funnel is critical, so you can slide in these types of things. Now, remember what's coming up. And I'd have to go back upstairs. Oakley, my youngest daughter, and Bria, my wife, in our kitchen have like this little Christmas decoration for the cocoa bar, but they also have this Santa like sleigh where they change the number. I think we're at like 44 days till Christmas, 43 days till Christmas, and they track that based on how many days we have till Christmas. Well, I should have one right next to it, and it should have a little house, the Build Short-Term Rental Wealth logo, and it should say 43 days till opening day of summer booking season. So think about that. Most of you are, Casey, you're coming to the, awesome, you're coming to the skiing deal in January in Whitefish. I love it. The skiing retreat. Sweet. Because we only got 2 seats left on that, I think. Is that right, Chris?
That's correct.
Oh, that's awesome. I can't wait. That's gonna be the funnest event ever. If you guys want to come to like the funnest mastermind ever, I've got 2 rooms left, 2 spots. That means it could be a single or it could be a couple. Chris popped the link in. Chris is gonna put the link in right here and drop it. He'll drop it into the edited show notes as well. If you do want to come, we're gonna mastermind in the mornings and ski in the afternoons. And then we have a full day of skiing. It's like, what is it, a 3.5-day event, Chris? And it's about half price what I usually charge for this. Chris just dropped the link in. If you guys want to come, this is a ski and snowboarding retreat, and I only have 2 spots left for that. Hopefully we'll see you guys there. Once again, timing. Chris, a lot of people would have waited till around Thanksgiving to deploy that, but one of the things that I'm always thinking about is travel, scheduling, babysitters, cost of flights go up the closer that you get there. So we launched this, was it just like a week ago or 10 days ago? And we're already 70% sold, or really, 70, because we have 10 spots and we have 2 left. So we're 80% sold out for that. So timing is critical for all of those components. And that's what I want you to think about. You guys know when the best time is to send an email. It's usually between 6 and 8 a.m. or between 8 and 10 p.m. And progressively throughout the week, each day gets weaker from an open rate. Let that sink in for a second. So there's a reason almost every Monday, sometime between 6:30 a.m. and 7 a.m., you get an email from me, because that is going to be the highest day for open rates, and it's going to be the highest timing for open rates, right? So the worst time to send an email is in the middle of the afternoon on a Sunday, which is what I did yesterday. Or really, I did it in the morning, probably around 10 a.m. On Sunday. So if you think about people's natural timing of how they run their everyday lives, whether it's Monday through Friday, they get up, they go to work, everybody's doing this, you're brushing your teeth, going to the bathroom, out of the shower, getting ready to head out, having your morning bowl of Cheerios, whatever it is, you check your phone. Then you look at noon to 1, a very typical 8 to 5 work week, 40-hour work week. That's when people take lunch. Then you look at after 5 o'clock. And then most importantly, what are you doing when you wind down? How many of you watched Yellowstone last night? At 7, 8 o'clock. Came back for how long has it been gone, Chris? 2 years? Something like that? I don't even want to know how many millions of people were watching. I'll bet it was probably 7, 8, 9 million people watched it last night. And Bree and I watched it. But you know what we were doing? Probably spent half of our time looking at this thing as opposed to actually watching, the big screen. Does that make sense? So the second screen is absolutely critical. So you have to plan on sending your communication, social media posts, email marketing, buy sell trade group posts, all of these different text message marketing, all of those things about when you're going to get the best interest rates or best interest rate. We're not talking about finance. We're talking about open rates, right, Chris?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think things that people miss, this is just one of those, having done lots and lots of email marketing, is that you can always resend to unopens. It's something we don't talk about a whole lot, but it's something we do a lot because people miss it. You get, like you mentioned, and we've talked about this before, because you're the person that wants to get rid of all the little red dots. You want 0 notifications of things. And the person that doesn't care if they're up there. So I have almost 81,000 unread emails in my inbox that has all the.
I wouldn't sleep at night. Actually, I don't sleep at night anyways, but that would really keep me awake.
Right, but you think, like you mentioned, how many emails do we get this time of year? How many promotions do you have that get sent out? And so a lot of times emails can just honestly get missed. It didn't pop out enough. Your subject may not have been vibrant enough for someone to stop the scroll, or it may just got popped in the bunch of emails that popped out at the same time. And so just the resend to people who previously didn't open it can get you a whole bunch of additional opens because you catch them at a better time for them, or a time when there's less emails or things distracting them from actually being able to read it.
Anthony says, no wonder you didn't reply to him.
That's why I have to reply to the team email. My personal email is the one. Team email is always at 0. My personal one is a shit show, as Bill would say.
Yeah, that's a fact. I do want to transition into something else too. So it's funny. I mean, we talked about the ski snowboard retreat that's coming up in January that I'm hosting in Whitefish, Montana. Only 2 spots left, by the way, if you just joined us. If you just joined us, actually, please say hello and where you're from in the comments. I'm in every Icon Pass Facebook group available. I'm in every skiing outside of the singles groups. Like I'm in the couples groups. I'm in the Banff group. I'm in the European Zermatt groups. I'm in all this different type of stuff. And what's interesting is a lot of you own properties in ski markets, whether it's Killington or where I'm at in Banner Elk, or you could be in Breckenridge or wherever, Big Sky, Mammoth, any of these places, like Tahoe, right? You're not in these groups. And these groups right now are just, it's literally like the first official week, or maybe the second week, I guess, ski season. But I see very, very few people in there taking advantage of those Facebook groups. Everybody's asking, even if you're not an Icon or an Epic Pass person, you should be in those groups to be taking advantage if you're at a ski resort anywhere. And it doesn't matter, if you're in West Virginia, or if you're in, if you're in Deer Valley, Utah, they are asking about every place. I just found right before this, Chris, I looked for probably 3-4 minutes, and I found 6 last minute vacation rental Facebook groups. And you go to these groups and they show you the average number of posts per day. One of them had like 47 posts per day. And do you think that's people going in and posting their links to their Airbnbs? No, it's not. Most of these groups don't allow that. It's people that are looking to book in these specific markets, right? So you guys need to be in these groups. It's not just about the cities that people are traveling that, are coming to book with you. It's not just about being in the Gulf Shores or the Smokies or, the ones around your location. There are many other types of groups that you guys can be taking advantage of. Hey, Jimmy, how are you today from East Tennessee? We got Eugene from DC. Awesome. Thanks for coming to the New Jersey boot camp. Who is that? Veronica from Thompson Station checking in. I love it. Who do we got there? Coops. I hate these names, right? We need to ban them from being in. I'm not to disrespect anybody here, but nobody gives a shit about, let's talk about marketing. Nobody gives a shit about the name of your company. specifically on social media, just FYI. People want to connect with people. I highly recommend for Coops, RV Adventures, and Vacation Collective, and I see these all the time, Chris. Do this under your name. When you're sending somebody something on social media, do it from your name. People want to do business with people. They don't want to do business with a brand that they don't know about. And I see this, Chris, in Airbnb listing titles. We see it on social media everywhere. You got to understand, whether it's Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, any social media plan, the algorithm is going to give you a bigger advantage of reaching people that don't currently follow you using your personal name as opposed to a business account every single time, because they want the business account to pay to be able to reach them. And these small little tiny, I guess, bits of knowledge, almost like the curse of genius, Chris, because you and I know this, but we don't even think to talk about this, that much. So if you're using a business name, and I actually tell my admins and moderators in my group, no pages are allowed, no business names are allowed inside the group. And if I see them, if somebody sneaks through, I delete them immediately personally, because I want it to be on that human element, right? So you want to be able to make that connection with them personally. Hey, Rick. Hey, Nader, Amy, Amanda. What is that? I can't read that. What is that? Karishma? Can you see that, Chris? I need to put my glasses on. Karishma, Tara. We got New Orleans, California, Jersey, Florida, Las Vegas. Nader, my man Nader. How are you, buddy? I don't sing. And Rick from North Carolina. Chris, you got anything you want to talk about today? We've got about 8 minutes left.
I think I want to kind of hammer home a little bit of what you're talking about with timing when it comes to why we use the 200-day funnel, why the funnel is so important, because people don't send emails, and then they finally do eventually send one, and then they get poor open rates because they haven't been warming up that email list, and then they give up on it. They're like, well, it doesn't work because I sent my email out and no one really responded to it, or I didn't get anyone that clicked to book direct with the first email. And they just like, it doesn't work, nothing works, I don't want to do this anymore. Realize that part of the reason we have the 200-day funnel isn't just to send a bunch of different emails. It's because when you routinely interact with someone, that when you send those one-offs, they're more willing to open it because you've been sharing information and sharing content and sharing information about the area, not just your specific property. And so those one-offs aren't just a like rare thing. It's not something that's unexpected for them. They're expecting communication from you on a regular basis, and those one-offs become just something that's that much more important, or that much more they're willing to open because you've already been communicating with them.
You've got to treat social media, email marketing, advertising, text message marketing, any of it, just like you do the gym. And if you don't do it consistently, you will get zero results. You can't, Chris and I are going skiing in 2 weeks, 2 weeks from yesterday, essentially. We're going to Phoenix. We're going to see my friends Pace Morby and John Hildebrand out there. And then we're going to divert back through Denver and hit Copper Mountain, maybe A Basin for 2 days of skiing. And if we just decide today that we want to get in shape, for skiing, it's a little bit too late. It's never too late to start, but we probably wouldn't see benefits for 5 or 6 weeks from today. So I started in September trying to get into the best shape of my life because I'm so just addicted to skiing, and it's just all consuming in my life. As Chris knows, pretty much when I get into a hobby like that, everything is all consuming. And I started working out, and I started lifting weights for the first time in 25 years, right? Because I want to be in good shape. I don't have 17-inch Python, calves like Chris does. We just got him ski boots today, and he could get like one pair because his calves are so freaking big, right? So and he's 16 years younger than me. I got to be able to keep up with him. So it's like one of the biggest influencers on my marketing career, and I was fortunate enough to have him work for me for 91 days, Sam Malakarjanan, who was one of my mentors at HubSpot when I was the 33rd customer at HubSpot. And then he went on to be the CMO of multiple companies and just a tremendous marketer because of the way that he thinks. And he came up with probably one of the best marketing terms that I've ever heard. And it was back when my agency we were writing 5 blog articles a day for like our clients and stuff like that, right? And I had 9 writers on staff and 2 editors. I think, did you ever meet Jasmine Henry
I would
at all?
not.
No. And so long story short is Sam said, blogging is like jogging. You've got to do it every day. Marketing is like jogging. Marketing is like trying to get fit in a gym. You have to do it consistently. You have to do it every day. Most of you that are fat, like I used to be, is because I would go to the gym and I would do it for 2 or 3 days and then I would stop. So like now I have a rule, and I was sick over the weekend. I had to work out today and I didn't want to this morning. Maximum 2 days off. I cannot miss a 3rd day. So I had to lift this morning, and literally diarrhea, vomiting all weekend. I think I lost like 4.5 pounds, didn't eat anything, and just felt like crap. I was in bed half the time. But I know if I don't do it today, it's going to be easier not to do it tomorrow. And then if I didn't do it Saturday, I didn't do it Sunday, and I mentally didn't do it today, and then I didn't do it tomorrow, basically I'm quitting. I'm like 5-6 days off. I'm losing muscle mass. I'm losing all of these things. I'm losing momentum that I've had. So that's hence with trying to do all of this stuff. And that's one thing I'm super excited about for Savannah. I have one of the best social media managers in the world. She's actually my personal social media manager now. She used to be with the WWE, the World Wrestling Entertainment, or WWF, or I don't even know what the hell they're called today. I guess it's WWE today. She's worked with The Rock. She's worked with Stone Cold Steve Austin. For old people like me, if you remember Sable and Hulk Hogan, all those people on personal brands and the brand development and partnerships and marketing that entire organization. And one of the things that she's going to do, because really that consistency is tough when you're trying to do this one day at a time. So what you have to do is learn how to batch and create content quickly in batches, and then schedule for like an entire week. And I had a conversation before I saw you this morning, Chris, and super excited for her to drop some amazing bombs with you guys. And she's going to give you the tools, the know-how, and how to execute to get a week's worth of content shot, created, done, and deployed, meaning scheduled to go out in less than an hour a week. Let that sink in for a second. And I'm talking, you can be on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. How do you get your reels? How do you get your 6-second videos? How do you get your images designed? All that type of stuff in less than an hour a week, and scheduled, remember earlier, at the right times on the right platforms. And understand that the time to post social media on TikTok is different than Facebook. We have those standardizations of utilization of time that work very well. But when you look at the age and the demographics and who you're trying to reach on Facebook versus, the age and the demographic of a typical user on TikTok is completely different, right? So as we're trying to do different targeting for our ideal customers, our ideal guests that we're trying to acquire, we still need to make sure that we're doing it on the right time, on the right platforms. And she's going to go over that as well. Jimmy, I use Market My STR CRM. It is amazing, and it's amazing in how robust, and the tagging systems, and you can create pipelines, and specifically for co-hosting and all that stuff. And it has appointment setting. So if you're using like Calendly or something like that, that syncs in as well. And then you have your text messages and your email funnels and your pipeline, and you can see all the stuff that goes into Market My SDR. One of the reasons that I built that for guys like you, Jimmy, is because I was customer 33 at HubSpot, and I helped build out the HubSpot partner agency program, and I had a multi-million-dollar marketing agency built on the back of HubSpot. And it got to the point where I was spending between $4,500 to $5,500 a month with HubSpot. And there's one person in the other side, the VRMA side of the industry, that has something similar to Market My SDR, but I found out at my very first SDR Wealth Conference, he starts at $1,500 a month. So I charge a tenth of that, or I should say Scott Hill, my partner in Market My SDR, charges a tenth of that to get every single thing that you need in an all-in-one marketing platform, along with a ton of templates, a ton of my templates, even my direct booking templates, my 200-day funnel, all of that type of stuff. So that's the CRM I use because I want to try to have everything integrated as tightly as I can, and I just don't want to overspend. I love HubSpot. I bled orange for you. I'm wearing orange today. bled orange for years. I would spend 3 to 5 days a month at the HubSpot headquarters for the better part of 4 or 5 years. But when I find something that's more cost efficient for an industry and better for those 1, 2, 3, almost said car, 1, 2, 3, property operators, to where we can make it affordable for them to be able to get that same impact that you would have if you use something like HubSpot. That's why we started Market My STR. So that's the CRM that I'm using. It's Market My STR. And there's really no need. The thing that sucks is when you go and you take email and you have that on one platform, then you go and you do a CRM and another platform, and then you've got text messaging and simple texting or whatever it is over here. Then you have Calendly or your direct booking, not direct booking, your appointment setting deal. And then you've got direct bookings and WordPress and a whole nother. Then you got WP Engine to make sure WordPress stays up to date with all the plugins and everything. Now it becomes way too time consuming, or it becomes just really, really expensive. And I think, there's just nothing better than what Scott Hill has put together for me. If it was good enough for Grant Cardone, it was good enough for me. And that's why I partnered with him on Market My STR. So just FYI, we will not be doing, Marketing Mondays next week because we have Move the Needle. If you have not registered for Move the Needle, you really need to do that now. We have, I think we're at right around 480, 485, just under 20 seats left roughly to hit that 500 mark. Chris just dropped in the link. This is happening from 11 a.m. till 5 p.m. Eastern time on both Monday and Tuesday. And it's going to be unlike any virtual event that you've ever seen in this ground transfer. Having these Freudian slips today in the short-term rental space. It's not going to be a Zoom. It's not going to be like this. It's going to be pretty crazy what's going to happen. And I think we still have maybe two VIP seats left or something like that if somebody does want to come and attend in person. So hopefully I'll see you guys there next week. It's going to be absolutely amazing. Thank you guys for being here. If we created any value for you, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And we'll see you guys in 2 weeks after Move the Needle. Have a great day and happy hosting.